Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the November 1, 2023 meeting of the Western New York Power Proceeds Allocation Board. I'm Tony Colucci. I'd like to welcome my fellow board members to this meeting, as well as members of the ESD staff and NYPA staff. In preparation for today's meeting, we circulated a proposed agenda. As you know, this meeting is being held in accordance with open meetings law, and notices were sent out appropriately, as was the agenda. Are there any questions about the agenda or proposals to change it in any way? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion to approve the agenda as proposed.
Motion.
Moved by Brenda, seconded by Paul. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? That passed unanimously. As you know, in preparation for meetings like today's meeting, we try to provide our board members with information and answers to any questions that they may have about issues that are important to them with respect to the applications that are before us. And in addition to that, we seek from them information about whether an actual or perceived conflict of interest may exist. For those of you who are not aware, I am recusing myself from today's recommendation because I have a conflict of interest with it. And I don't know that I need to articulate why it is, but I'm happy to talk with anyone offline if that's necessary. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it is nevertheless a conflict. And so I'll recuse myself from consideration. However, I'll continue to chair the meeting unless someone has an objection to it. Is there anyone else who has a conflict of interest with today's application? All right, very good. I believe that the meeting minutes from our August 10th, 2023 board meeting were circulated to all members of the board before today's meeting, and I'm wondering if there's any questions or suggestions for changes to that document.
None.
Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Make that motion. Brenda McDuffie.
Brenda McDuffie moved, Paul seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? I believe that was passed unanimously. This time I'd like to call on Richard Smith to provide us with an update concerning the fund.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, you have in your packets the fund update report for the Western New York Economic Development Fund. It's dated September 2023. I'd like to give you a moment to find that document and we can go through it. Total deposits to the fund to date amounts to $84,063,000. Total interest earned on deposits to date amounts to $2,393,961, making total funds deposited equal to $86,456,961. As to expenditures, to date, there has been zero spent on administrative expenses. Disbursements to grantees amounts to $36,302,700, making the current fund balance equal to $50,154,260. As to awards, under standard projects, we have $35,376,181 awarded. Under energy-related projects, we have $6,737,815 awarded, making the total fund benefits awarded equal to $42,113,996. And the total fund benefits award available to be awarded by the Western New York Power Proceeds Allocation Board amounting to $44,342,965. Under energy-related projects, a minimum amount of 15% of the fund is dedicated to energy-related projects. This amounts to $12,609,450. Total awards made for energy-related projects to date, not including today, amounts to $6,737,815. Fund benefits currently available to be awarded for energy-related projects only, therefore amounts to $5,871,635. Today's recommendation is for a standard project and amounts to $595,000. As to the power that supports the program, estimated unallocated EP and RP to date is 41 megawatts. Estimated allocated but unused power to date amounts to 203 megawatts, making the total estimated unutilized EP and RP to date equal to 244 megawatts. There is additional detail on the back of that particular report. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the board has.
Are there any questions for Richard?
I should know this, but, and so I apologize. We've awarded 42 million approximately, and we've dispersed 36.3 million. When do funds get dispersed?
That's according to the different agreements that are put
Okay.
in place per awardee. So there's terms and conditions that would be included.
So it's once you have executed a contract and
Right.
the terms are met. So it varies by project. Okay, thank you.
You bet.
Are there any other questions for Richard in connection with the fund report? As our members know, there's no action that needs to be taken with respect to the report. We'll just receive and file that information. And now I'd like to move on to the award of fund benefits for round 32 and ask Emily Upwitz, did I pronounce your last name correctly? To give us the presentation of our first and only recommendation for today.
Thank you, Chairman Colucci, and all members of the board and staff in attendance today for inviting me to present on this project. Staff is recommending that the Power Proceeds Allocation Board recommend a fund benefit award of $595,000 to Whiting Door Manufacturing Corporation to support a 20,000 square foot expansion at its Akron, New York facility, where it will add machinery and equipment and make site improvements necessary to increase manufacturing capacity to provide roll-up doors for a large government contract and potentially other customers. Whiting Door is a family-owned and managed company established in 1953 that manufactures roll-up and swing doors for the commercial freight and transportation industries. Since introducing the roll-up door to the trucking and transportation industry, Whiting Door has grown to operate manufacturing facilities across the United States and license affiliates who manufacture under the Whiting Door nameplate globally. Operations have been expanded to include swing doors and a custom shop that specializes in laminated panel designs. Recently, a Whiting Door customer won a contract to produce new next-generation delivery vehicles for a large government agency that will require the production and delivery of between 50,000 and 165,000 zero-emission electric and low-emission internal combustion engine vehicles over the next 10 years. As a result, Whiting Door expects to complete its expansion project by 2025 to support full volume production, create 25 jobs, and retain 2 jobs at the project site. The total project cost is $3,965,000 and consists of the construction of a new manufacturing and warehousing space, machinery and equipment, and related site improvements. There are several aspects of this project that support a recommendation favoring a fund benefit award, and they are as follows. The cost of expanding locally is 15% higher than alternatives like South Carolina. A proceeds award would enable this applicant to expand the manufacturing here in New York and meet the production goals for this new contract. The applicant is retaining 2 jobs and creating 25 or over a 4-year period. And if it expands outside of New York, these jobs would otherwise be reassigned to that production facility and not realized here. This project will provide additional employment opportunities for the residents of Eastern Erie and Genesee counties and others which are considered rural and economically distressed. Since over 75% of the next generation vehicles will be electric, this applicant's lightweight door will contribute to the nation's effort to depend more on carbon-free energy. This applicant intends to work with the tribal state nations, BOCES, SUNY Erie Community College, and related workforce development organizations located in the local counties to hire the required workforce. The applicant has previously worked with the Northland Workforce Development Center and Journey's End organizations to meet workforce needs. Lastly, in closing, this project aligns well with the Western New York Regional Economic Development Council strategies and priorities as it promotes the expansion of a company engaged in advanced manufacturing, and as evidenced by its development and use of new lightweight materials to support the next generation of energy efficient vehicles and the creation of 25 manufacturing jobs. Thank you.
Thank you, Emily. Any questions for Emily on this particular recommendation?
I don't have a question, I have a comment, if you're ready to receive that.
Of course.
And I appreciate staff and their due diligence, as well as Whiting responding to, it's an overall concern that we should all have top of mind, because as you understand, this resource that we are very fortunate to have in Western New York is allows us to really extend out the regional economic development plan. And as part of the strategy, which appears on Exhibit B, one of the important strategies that was adopted by the Regional Economic Development Council, which Deanna, Paul, and myself are members of, is that of promoting workforce diversity. Because there's a real understanding and in looking at the demographic trends that the emerging workforce will be made up of primarily minorities and immigrants. And we're even putting in a competitive grant so that we can really work towards making sure that individuals are prepared and can seek out opportunities. So I did ask 2 questions about this company, and it's really not directed at this company, but at us as a body and us as a community. They provided information on their workforce. Their workforce is about 95% whites, and they broke it out by race and ethnicity, ethnic groups, including African Americans, Hispanics, white Hispanics, and non-white Hispanics, Native American, Asian. So they had those filters. And so what that says to me is they don't have a diverse workforce. And they did, as you said, Liz, and I thank you for that. One of the reasons this project is being recommended by staff is that they are working with a number of organizations to make sure that they can not only hire people, but hopefully be able to diversify their company. I just want us to keep our eye on our strategy, because we're going to have to do more than work with these organizations. It is in a rural portion of our county. Access to transportation is problematic. They are not the only company in Akron that's really having challenges hiring people. I think it's across the country, but particularly in Western New York. And I sit here with Paul in the construction industry, same issue, can't find people. We have to figure out how we're going to engage these new emerging workers and individuals who frankly have been in a workforce in a way that's going to be able to not only individually help them and their families be able to take advantage of opportunities that pay $75,000 a year, but also it's a major contribution to the economy, which is what we're focused on in Western New York. We want people to be able to not only survive, but thrive. And so I just bring that to our attention. They, as Liz mentioned, they do work with the government. And so they do have a business diversity program. And I am really hopeful, but I know hope by itself without work is not going to produce the intended results that we want for this region. And so I just want to make a point of it. Like I said, I totally support this project. I really like to see this quality of employment opportunity presented, and particularly for those individuals who haven't participated in the workforce, giving them quality opportunities. And manufacturing is one of the sectors that we know is going to provide that and has provided that for our region. So thank you for indulging me, and I hope we put it at the top of our radar screen, whether it's working with companies for transportation, better transportation out to those sites, making sure the environment and the culture is inclusive and welcoming. Because as I said, all of the minorities are at the very bottom of the wage scale in this company. So do we provide promotional opportunities? Do we provide opportunities for the company to understand and appreciate why inclusion is an economic issue for them? And do they appreciate it enough to make that environment welcoming and promote individuals within the community? So.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And any other questions or comments before I ask for a vote? Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adopt staff's recommendation to award $595,000 to Whiting Door Manufacturing Corporation.
I'll move it. Go ahead, Dan.
Moved by Deanna, seconded by Brenda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? One abstention. That would be me. I believe it passes. Okay. I believe that concludes our formal business for today. We do not have another meeting scheduled. I believe it will be determined in the future based upon our needs to get together. Is there any more business that the board needs to entertain or consider before I ask for a motion to adjourn?
I just want to ask the staff, particularly as it relates to what's happened in Buffalo and in Western New York as part of the fabric of our community, to do some targeted outreach to businesses, particularly those entrepreneurs who are in business on the east side of Buffalo. Early on, we had the Heritage Corridor and the Nash House receive grants, but I have not seen any businesses on the east side of Buffalo receive grants in a number of maybe 2 or 3 years. And I think it's really important. We're at a pivotal point in our community, and if we're really going to heal, we have to show that we invest in those communities. So I make that request.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? We'll therefore entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second. I don't believe I need a motion for that. Thank you very much for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.
Thank you.